At a certain point, you're going to find that a piece of equipment is past a point where keeping it no longer makes sense, and hopefully by then it had given you several good years of service. But the big question that might come up is it really beyond any sort of help, or is it just beyond repair because of cost? Well, that's a very complicated question we'll have to try and answer. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this very robust snapper lawnmower, and the problem is that I just picked it up and I'm not really certain what kind of condition it's in. Now, even though I don't know what the whole story is behind this mower, there's a good chance that it's going to have one, if not a couple of problems with it. I know that there are some very generous people out there, but I mean, who would give away a working lawnmower? I certainly wouldn't do that. Now, this is not a complete repair video. In fact, this is a revisit of an older repair video from years ago. So if you want to see the actual repair video, click on the link at the top of the screen. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about some of the pros and cons of trying to keep older machines like this mower running for a lot longer than even the manufacturers were expecting. So I've got a great question for you. How long do you think manufacturers want their stuff to last? 1 season? Maybe a couple? How about a solid 5 seasons? Well, it depends on a couple of factors. One of which has to do with how you take care of the machine, and the other would be the initial quality of the machine from the factory. Now, there are a couple of other factors to take into account, but we won't mention them here just yet. Instead, I'm going to make a wild assumption that most manufacturers would like for you to buy a new machine every couple of years. Not necessarily 2 years, but 3 to 4 years would be my guess, but how did I come up with that number? Now, the reason I would say 3 to 4 years is because my yearly budget for a mower would be about $100 per year. And what I mean by that is if I buy a $300 mower, I'd like for it to last at least 3 years. That means if for some reason I bought a $1,000 push mower, I'd hope that it would last at least 10 years. And every year after my expectations were met would then help to bolster that the choice that I made was a good one. But what happens if that doesn't happen? Let's say that I did buy that $1,000 machine and was expecting it to last at least 10 years, but it breaks down in half that time. What then? I'm not sure how you would feel about it, but for me, I would feel as though despite the care that I gave it, it must have failed because of a manufacturing or a quality issue. And that I also ended up paying twice as much per year than I should have to own that mower, which is not a good feeling to have. I guess to get around this issue, I should have just bought a lower priced mower because the chances are pretty good that it will last at least a couple of years. But like most of us, I do have brands that I prefer and some that I really don't. And unfortunately, most of the mowers that I like tend to be at least $400, if not more, thanks to inflation. And what that means is I'm looking for at least 4 good seasons of work from a brand new mower, but because of the extra care that I like to give my machines, I want it to last much longer than that. So even though my expectations are for it to last a year for every $100 that it costs, I really like to see it last twice as long. That means even if a $400 mower should last 4 years, I truly wouldn't be happy unless it could go a lot longer than that. Remember, my budget to own a mower was $100 per year, but it's not set in stone. So what's my budget for other items like a leaf blower, string trimmer, and even a chainsaw then? Now, most often string trimmers are nowhere near the price of new lawnmowers that aren't commercial, so I'm not as picky. But I would like a new trimmer to last at least 5 years and not cost over $200. That means my yearly budget for a string trimmer would be about $40 per year. Now for a leaf blower, it would be pretty much the same as the string trimmer, and as for a chainsaw, that's a bit tougher to figure out. Now since I don't use a chainsaw very often, my goal is for it to be of good quality and last for at least 20 hours of use. Now I know that doesn't sound like much, but you have to understand something. My expectations aren't all that high. However, if I was a homesteader and I was depending upon one more often, I'm pretty sure I'd have some pretty high expectations about them. But something really strange happens when you go past your expected years of use, and most will never have to deal with these issues. Of course, I'm talking about the ability to maintain your machine in regards to getting parts for it. Now, oil, spark plugs, and air filters are pretty easy to get, at least right now, but what happens when you need to get a part that isn't very common? If you haven't figured it out, that's the issue with this lawnmower. It's at least 15 years old, and even though the engine parts might be available, the parts for the rest of the mower are a bit harder to find, at least new parts. I had to add that last part in because the used market is still an option, but it is disappearing rather quickly. Look at it this way, if you needed a part for an automobile and the only place to get it was to go to the scrap yard, there's a good chance that new parts are hard to find for it as well. That's pretty much the same for mowers. If you can't find the parts you need online as a new part or as a remanufactured one, then maybe it's time to consider getting a new mower, one that's a little bit newer. But is that really a problem? Now, just because your mower celebrated its 10th anniversary doesn't mean it's junk and needs to be replaced, but you could run into some hurdles when trying to find parts for it. And if this ever does happen to you, it might make fixing it very frustrating and might be enough to make you get rid of it. But what if it's a part that you can live without? Perhaps something with the bagging system, or it could be something cosmetic. That's not going to keep you from using it, right? Well, I would hope that was the case, but what happens when it's something that's important to how the mower works? What then? Let's say the recoil broke into a couple of pieces and you can't get a new one or even a used one. Fortunately, in that case, it's not a lost cause because there are at least two other ways you can start a mower. If you have access to power, you can always use a drill to start the engine, but if you don't have power, you can always use a piece of rope to start the engine. Now that may not work for the newer mowers, but remember, we're talking about stuff that's old to begin with. Of course, most people wouldn't deal with that kind of situation and would just replace the mower, but it's nice to know that you have options. But does that mean keeping a mower past its prime is not a good idea? Well, not at all. The longer you can keep your mower going, the better it is. It's just when it gets older does that question start to become harder to answer. Now, this mower is a very special example of this issue, and when I tell you about it, I think you're going to agree with me. Now, you obviously don't have any control over what other people do with their machines. And as you might have guessed, it was the actions or maybe the lack of actions by the last owner that put it in the place where it is now. So on this mower, it has one of the most unique designs of self-propel that I've ever seen, at least on a push mower. Now, I've seen this design on some snowblowers and even some riding mowers, but to see it here was quite the surprise. Unfortunately, after years of no service and inspection, part of the drive system failed, making it pretty much useless. Now, that's pretty much every story that I hear, but it's what happened after that that makes this one quite unique. Now, for some reason that we won't ever find out, the last owner decided to take the drive system apart and for some unknown reason stopped in the middle of that process. But after a period of time decided they didn't want to work on it anymore and gave it away, probably in hopes that someone might benefit from it, which was really kind of them. Of course, if the engine was still in working condition, someone with plenty of free time on their hands might be able to swap this engine onto a different mower that had a bad one on it. Now, is putting stuff on the curb to be given away in hopes that someone can use it a great idea? Well, the answer to that question might surprise you, and it is not necessarily. You see, on a lawnmower, the parts can be very expensive to replace, and there are a lot of parts on it, which might not be the case when talking about a string trimmer or a chainsaw. So even though I do appreciate finding free trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws on the curb, I don't always appreciate them as much as finding a free mower. Now, does that mean I'm likely to pass on a free string trimmer? Not at all. However, I am less likely to try as hard to get there to pick it up versus a mower. Of course, that might not apply to you or other people who instead might see anything for free is still better than paying for it. There is a bigger question that comes up when you get whatever it is you just picked up home, and that is the item even worth fixing? Now, this very scenario came up recently, not with a free item, but with one that I was trying to repair. It had to do with a leaf blower that was over 20 years old, and even though some parts were still available for it, the one part that I thought would always be there was sadly not available any longer. That project now sits in limbo with really no way to fix it unless I can find a different mower with the same part and then hope that that same part on the parts machine doesn't have the same problem. Now, some have mentioned about trying to find a different part from a different blower that might work on this one, but as you might have guessed, I've already tried looking into doing that, and what I've discovered is that this particular part is very unique. So finding a good stand-in part has not worked out like I wanted it to, and until further notice, it's going to be hanging around until I can figure out what to do with it. And as for this poor mower, after looking up all the parts that were missing on it, I've decided not to try to get the self-propel working again, but to instead sell it as a push mower for a lot less money. Now, of course, I did get it for free, however, I could have made a lot more money on the sale had I got the drive working like it should have been. And it's just a real shame because even though push mowers sell for a lot less than ones with self-propel, they also seem to be in a lot less demand as well. And even though this 15-year-old mower is in great condition, not having a working self-propel just seems to make it a lot less of a mower than it used to be. And also because it was in great condition, I didn't feel right to use it for a parts machine. Now, if the mowing deck had had holes in it or some other major system was failing on top of the drive system, then I wouldn't have had a problem taking it apart. But it was just tough to make that choice when only the self-propel wasn't working. The other reason I couldn't take it apart was because I've heard some great things about this high-vac snapper mower platform. And even though you have to push it around the yard to experience it, I didn't think I should be the one to destroy it. Of course, if the new owner wants to do that, well, that's up to them. Now, unfortunately, by the time you see this video, it'll have already been sold and used by its new owner. And hopefully they're taking good care of it, and if they're not, well, it's their problem now. So my question is, what are you going to do when you realize your mower is living on borrowed time, that when it does break down, more than likely it'll be too expensive to fix? Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate your time here. Please feel free to ask me any questions about this project or about your own projects, and I hope to see you in the next video.